Today, we're going to be talking about spring cleaning, things you forget to do. All those things you should be doing, but you never do in your spring cleaning. We're going to talk about it today and make sure you do not forget to do them. This is Jessica Duncan's Just My Opinion, and I'm Jessica. There's no handbook to owning a home. That's why I go beyond the transaction to share my opinions and tips for adulting made simple. So today we're talking about those spring cleaning, doing that maintenance on the house that we really need to do to protect that investment. And this is really why we do spring cleaning. And it's also just to make us enjoy life a little bit better, right? So over the winter, we hibernate a little bit more, things get a little bit more stacked up. But as the spring comes, we start to open the windows, enjoy the beautiful weather. How can we lighten that air in the house up? How can we lighten the mood in the house up and really get us ready for that spring? So one of the biggest things with spring cleaning for me is decluttering. I love to declutter. I love to throw things away. It drives my husband crazy. Sometimes I throw things away and he doesn't miss them, and 5 years later asks me where they are, and I have no idea, and I probably threw it away 5 years ago. He didn't need it. If you hadn't touched something for 5 years, in my opinion, you don't need it. I am definitely a huge follower of the 1 year rule. If you don't touch something for 1 year, you don't need it. Get rid of it. It is taking up space in your mind, in your home. It is cluttering your life. So you need to get rid of it. So one of the things I do each year is I go through my closet and I turn all my hangers around the wrong way. You know, where it's awkward to pull it out of the closet, where it's not hanging on the hook correctly. I do that intentionally because what I want to see is, what have I worn the last year? So if I haven't wore something in the last year, when we're spring cleaning, we need to get rid of it. If I haven't wore it through all 4 seasons, I'm probably never going to wear it. And if it's one of those things that, well, you know, I can't fit into it right now, but I think I'm going to be able to fit into it later, I box that stuff up and put it in the attic. My husband changes sizes more than anyone I've ever known. He's one of those lucky guys that can decide to go on a diet and lose 15 pounds in a week and drop 2 sizes. I have not been that lucky in my life. But so I will box his jeans and pants up and write the size on the outside and put them up in the attic to pull down at a later time. So I get it if you don't want to just completely get rid of them. There's some things to do there that you can save them for later, but turn everything in your closet around to the wrong way. As you wear it throughout the year, you're going to hang it up the right way. So the first part of your spring cleaning is you want to go through and get rid of everything that is facing the wrong way. You haven't touched it for a year. Let's get rid of it, get it out of there, and help declutter your life. Another one I like to do with decluttering is go through my pantry. All that old canned goods that have been sitting there for a while, check the expiration dates. My seasonings are the worst. I love to cook and I have a lot of seasonings. And so going through those seasonings, seeing what's expired, I'm not going to lie, I'll use them a little bit past the expiration date, but go through and declutter that. If it's been in there for 6 years, probably need to get rid of it. So you want to declutter that pantry. I even have every couple months, I try to do what I call clean out meals. And clean out meals mean I'm cleaning out the freezer or I'm cleaning out the pantry and using what we have and getting creative to make meals. So my husband knows sometimes those may not be the greatest, but they've actually sometimes turned out to be some of his favorites by mistake. So go through that pantry, get rid of all of those old canned and boxed goods, anything that is out of date. And don't forget about that freezer. Go through the freezer. Some people will even defrost their freezer once a year. Make sure you're getting rid of all of that old food. Most food is not going to last more than 1 year in the freezer. So you definitely want to get rid of everything in there that's already got freezer burnt on it. So let's talk a little bit more on the kitchen and what you should be doing for spring cleaning there. One thing that a lot of people forget to do is pull the fridge out and clean the coils behind the fridge. So either on the back of your fridge, or if you have a Sub-Zero, they're on the front of the fridge. But you want to make sure you are cleaning out the coil system. It's really simple. Normally you just have to, some you have to take a couple screws off to get to it. Some you don't have to do anything. Just vacuum out the mechanics of your fridge to get all of that dust off of it. What happens is over time, it's attracting dust, it's pulling air, and you're going to end up getting this buildup of dust on it. Well, what it's going to do is shorten the lifetime of your fridge. So go ahead and pull that fridge out once a year. Make sure you get all that dust out of there and help improve the functionality of your fridge and the lifetime of it. Also in the kitchen, above your stove, where your exhaust is that takes the smell and the steam out of the house when you are cooking, either out of the house or some of them, a lot of them nowadays are recirculation, so it's not even going out of the house. There is a filter in that. You need to take that out and clean it. Different ones require different types of cleaning, but most of them are not replacement. They're actually ones that need to be cleaned. If you fry a lot, you may need to use a degreaser or something like that. Some of them you can just actually throw in the dishwasher, and they're super simple and easy to clean. But that's going to help that exhaust work better over your stove, as well as reduce the smells in your house. And no one wants their house smelling funky or like old fried grease, right? In the kitchen, let's go ahead and take a look at those water bottles, cups, coffee cups. I seem to collect coffee cups over the years. I love coffee, I love tea, and I collect them everywhere I go, it seems like. So go ahead and go through and declutter some of those coffee cups and the water bottles. So we take a water bottle everywhere we go now. I think most people do. But over time, as we collect them and the lids and where's the matching ones and all of the insulated stainless cups. So go through and match those up with the lids as well. And it may be time to pare them down. How many water bottles do you need? I just did this in my house and I was totally shocked to find out that between Mike and I, two people, we had 15 water bottles. You can only carry one at a time. Why do we need 15? And half of them were dented, where they had been dropped. They probably weren't even keeping our water cold anymore. So I went through, decluttered, and got rid of a bunch of those. So you want to make sure, don't forget about your cups, your dishes. Some people, collect dishes over the years, but now may be a good time to look at all those casserole dishes, especially if you've had something happen in your family where people have delivered a bunch of food to you, whether a baby or a death or anything like that. Go through and figure out, where do these belong? Can I return them and get them out of my house? So while we're in the kitchen, let's talk about all those Tupperware containers with all the missing lids or all the extra lids that you don't have a container to. Let's go through, pull out each Tupperware container, match a lid to it, make sure you have both pieces of all of it. If you don't have both pieces, let's go ahead and get rid of it. It's okay. I know I just recently did this and I had to order some new lids for my Pyrex. I love Pyrex bowls. I'm not big on the plastic Tupperware. We do a lot of meal prep and I cook a lot for my husband. It's really convenient for him to just throw it straight in the microwave. So I use a lot of the Pyrex or glass ones. I just did that and I realized I was one particular shape. I was missing 4 lids. Didn't know it, but they actually sell replacements. So I was able to go online, order replacements so I can use those. They've been sitting in my cabinet, not being used for 6 months. What a waste of space, right? So go through, match all your Pyrex, match all your Tupperware. Make sure you've got the lids for each one, the bottom pieces or the container for each one. And if you don't, let's go ahead and get rid of it. And then go through all of the closets too. So we're continuing with this decluttering throughout the house. Go through all of the closets. Go through your old towels and hand towels and wash rags. Do you have a bunch that have holes in them? They're starting to fray that maybe you need to get rid of. But go through the medicine cabinet. Go through each one of these cabinets and pantries and closets in your house and see what you're not using, what's expired, and what you can get rid of. It's just going to help lighten your life. Let's talk about the laundry room. So how I talked about cleaning out the coils in the fridge, we also need to do a similar type of thing with the laundry. On your washing machine, you actually want to clean the barrel inside that washing machine. So you can Google, you can go on Pinterest and find all sorts of different tips. I particularly like to use vinegar, and a lot of times I'll use a vinegar wash and then maybe even a bleach wash because I do have a dog, and so I think my washing machine gets rather dirty inside. You can't see the inside dirt, but that dirt is in the tub that the actual washer you can see sits in. So you want to put something in there that's really going to break down that dirt and grime and do a good clean cycle on it. I have seen 1 or 2 newer washing machines that have a clean cycle, but it's very rare. Make sure though you are doing that to your washing machine, cleaning it out, cleaning that barrel out with some sort of strong cleaner at least once a year. On the dryer, you want to clean that dryer vent out. And when you pull the dryer vent out, of course, there's additional you want to clean in there, but you want to actually clean that line out that goes all the way outside the house. That is the number one cause of fires in houses, is that dryer vent where lint has been trapped. So make sure you're cleaning that out. If you're not handy or don't know how to do that, there are a ton of companies out there. Definitely reach out and have someone do that. If you need a reference, call me and I will send you someone. But you want to make sure you're keeping that area nice and clean so you don't have a fire in your home. And we can't talk about spring cleaning without talking about dust. There's a lot of dusting that needs to happen. And what you want to think about is this isn't just your normal dusting. Okay, I'm going to dust, on top of the mantle and the end tables and nightstands, but you really want to dig into the places that you normally don't dust. So think about the tops of your cabinets. And when I say dust, I'm really big on actually using a vacuum cleaner to dust because I want to suck it up and get it out, but not just wipe it around and spread it. But you want to get on top of those cabinets, on top of your doorways, on top of the encasing on every window frame. And of course, don't forget the blinds that you have hanging up or any of your drapes that you have hanging up that may need to be, drapes or curtains may need to be washed. But go around the entire house and look for any place that can capture dust that you normally do not clean. Of course, your fans, your blinds, but hopefully you're doing that a little bit more regularly. But dust every place that you normally don't think about it. Walk through your house with a different set of eyes. Look at your intake vents in each of your bedrooms as well as your AC vents that blow air out in each room. Make sure you are cleaning those. You should be changing that AC filter at least once a quarter, if not more than that. But look at the actual register and the vent that blows it out. Is there some cobwebs and dust on that? Make sure you get that clean so you're not breathing in all of that dust. Another thing I like to do is what I call dusting the walls. So I have one of those very large, extra large Swiffers, and I put a Swiffer on there and actually wipe down all the walls in my house. I like to do the ceiling as well, but you have to be careful if you have a popcorn ceiling. Definitely don't put any water on it. And your walls, don't put any water unless you have certain types of paint. You got to be careful there. But the Swiffer is just a dust thing. It helps capture that dust, but it's really good just to wipe down all the walls in your house. Get any of that dust that has been gathering over the year. Dust is a huge part of spring cleaning, so let's get rid of it all. As you're going around your house too, remember you're looking through a different set of lens than what you look at on a daily basis. You're looking for all those little nicks and things that have happened over time. So look at all your furniture. They make these great little furniture markers that you can touch up the stain on your furniture, whether it's your furniture legs or your coffee table or your end tables, your dresser. Go around the whole house and touch up all of those little nicks with one of those furniture markers. It's going to make your furniture look like it's brand new again and make you feel like you just got a whole new house. So go through and touch all those up. In the kitchen, you want to do the same thing. Make sure you wipe down all of those kitchen cabinets, every door, vacuum out the inside of every single one of your drawers and cabinets, and then touch up the paint or stain on them as well. It's just going to bring a whole new life to your kitchen and you're going to love it. So let's talk about those storage areas in your house. Let's talk about the attic, the garage. Do you have a detached building, a detached storage building? Let's follow the rule of 1 year on those as well. Get up in that attic, get rid of all that stuff that you haven't used for years that you're not touching. It's been there for 3 or 4 years. Let's go ahead and get rid of it and pass it on to someone who can use it, or pass it on to the trash if that's where it needs to go. Let's do the same thing in the garage. Open up every cabinet in the garage or storage bin in the garage and go through and get rid of stuff that you are not using and you are not going to use. I know my husband hates when I do this to him. He has all of his different oils and lubricants and things like that for working on vehicles and cars. And I'm always like, can we get rid of this? Can we get rid of this? He's like, no, I'm going to need that. I'm like, when's the last time you used it? So go through and get rid of that stuff. A lot of it is going to go bad. And by the time you need it, you're probably going to go buy a new one. So if you haven't touched it in the last year, let's go ahead and get rid of it. That storage shed outside, you want to do that as well. Is there stuff that's been sitting in there for years that no one has touched? Let's get rid of it. Are there tools that you've bought new ones and you still have old ones laying around? My husband is a champion of that. I am really talking about my husband a lot today. He is not going to like this podcast. Of course, I have my flaws as well. So he is probably the more perfect one in the relationship, but today just happens to be hitting on his. I'm a get rid of everything and he likes to keep everything. So go through though and look at those extra tools. If there are some that you're not using anymore, maybe you got a new one, go ahead and donate that one to someone who maybe doesn't have any. With your electronics in the house, this is also a good time to clean them out. So the back of the television also has a vent system similar to like your refrigerator. And you want to either vacuum that out or use a compressed air can to really blow and get all of that dust out of it. Go around your house and all your electronics. You want to do that as well. It's also a good time to maybe pull up your Wi-Fi network and see what all's connected to it. There could be a bunch of devices connected that you're not using anymore, or even that other people have connected to. So go through and delete those off and make sure that you don't have anyone tied to your Wi-Fi network that shouldn't be on there. If you've got rugs all over your house and you don't clean them on a regular basis, at least once a year, let's clean those rugs. There's a lot of different types of rugs, and how you clean them will depend on that. Now they have the wonderful washable rugs, which I love because, again, I got an 80-pound lab, so hair everywhere. I like to wash mine quite regularly, and I love them because I can just pull them up, throw them in the washing machine. They pretty much come out almost dry, but I hang them out in the sun, let them dry the rest of the way, and then put them back down. But if you're not doing that regularly, this is the perfect time of year to wash all of the rugs in your house. Some of them you do have to take and have professionally cleaned, so make sure you know what type of rugs you have. You don't want to ruin a very expensive rug by throwing it in the washing machine. I also have been known to just take it outside with a pressure washer and pressure wash it just to get it clean. But make sure you're going through the entire house, cleaning all of those rugs and making sure they're ready to go for the spring. When we're talking about declutter too, in that bathroom, I want you to go through and get rid of all that old makeup that you don't ever use, your old hair products, face products. Go ahead and get rid of all that stuff. Declutter it. If it's been there a year, you're not using it, let's cut it out. Also in the bathroom, don't forget to vacuum that exhaust fan. There's normally a vent over it. Make sure you pull that down, wash it if you need to, but at least at the minimum, you want to hit it with a vacuum and get all that dust off. So let's talk about the outside of the house. One of the big things you want to do with spring cleaning is those windows. Go through around the entire house, clean the inside and outside of your windows. Some of the newer ones you can actually do from inside, but I want you to go outside as well. I want you to take the screens off and really blow them out, get all the dust and cobwebs and things like that out of them. You do want to exercise every window in your house, and you've probably heard me talk about this on the show, exercising your windows, because no one does it. And I see this on home inspections all the time where the windows aren't working because they weren't exercised. But open and close each window in your house, clean them inside and out. Clean those screens, vacuum out that little track that seems to capture everything where the window opens and closes and how disgusting that can get. Make sure you're getting that. And then while you're on the outside of the house, what I want you to also do is look around your windows at the sealant or caulk that goes around the window. Over time, that deteriorates. It's getting broken down by the sun, and you normally have to redo that about every 3 to 5 years, depending on the amount of sunlight a window's getting. So go ahead and look at that as you're cleaning each window. And if that's something that needs to be done, you want to go ahead and add that to your to-do list. Either have someone do it or reach out to a handyman. Again, if you need someone, let me know to have that done. But that's going to help with that energy efficiency of your house. And it's definitely something you want to do to keep that going. Also on the outside of the house, we want to do some pressure washing. And you may have to do this more than once a year, depending on the direction of your house, where the sun's hitting it. But go around the outside of the house, pressure wash the outside, pressure wash the driveways, the porches, get them all sparkling clean again. Again, if you can't do it, we have resources. We'll send you someone. So just give us a call, DM me. But you want to freshen up the whole outside of the house. Don't forget those eaves, soffits. Be careful if you're pressure washing the roof there. You don't want to pressure wash your roof unless you know what you're doing. You may want to hire someone there. There are some specialty things you need to do. It's actually more of a soft wash. You don't want to deteriorate your roof by tearing those granulars off of it. But go around the outside. If you have a pool, you want to make sure you pressure wash that pool decking or cool deck or pavers, whatever you have there. If you do have pavers, make sure you're pulling up all those weeds or spraying a chemical down to kill all those weeds. Just keeping up with this is going to keep the maintenance easier in the long run. If you let this go for years, then it's a lot harder to handle. You want to freshen up the outside of the house too. Like, look at your flower beds. Do you need to add some more mulch or pine straw, whatever type of filler you have in there around your plants? Do you need additional? Do you need to change some plants out? But just go around and update the landscaping. And the biggest thing here is you do want to make sure over time is that mulch or pine straw that you have in your flower beds, you don't want that up against your house. You don't want anything right up against your house, including wood, that can attract termites. So if there is any firewood that you have built up against the house for the winter, you want to definitely remove that. You want to make sure no mulch or pine straw is actually touching the house. Obviously, your flower beds go right up to the house, but keep it just a couple inches away. It's going to help deter those bugs and termites from getting inside of your house. When you're doing your spring cleaning, this is the perfect time to adjust your sprinklers. So over time, our sprinkler heads get hit. The lawnmower hits them. Sometimes we break one off. So you want to make sure you're adjusting those. Go through, turn each zone of your sprinklers on. Make sure they're not hitting your fence. They're not hitting your house. Adjust them so you're not watering your driveway and wasting money. Now, sometimes you may need to hit a little bit of it just to hit a flower bed, but you want to go through and adjust all those and make sure they're going to the right places. Do your maintenance on your sprinkler system as well. Make sure all of your heads are performing as they should. So I hope you have enjoyed all of these cleaning tips that we've talked about today, that spring cleaning. And our home hack for today, we always like to do a home hack. Our home hack for today is actually my cleaning checklist. So if you shoot me a DM, we will send you over our spring cleaning checklist. You can either send it on Facebook, Instagram, email me, text me, whatever you want to do. Just shoot us over and we will get you that spring cleaning checklist to help you with all of your spring cleaning. This has been Just My Opinion. I'm so glad you joined us today. Make sure you follow or subscribe depending on where you're listening to us at so you never miss an episode. If you ever want us to talk about something, have a question for us, shoot me a DM. We'd love to answer it on the show. We may just mention you on the show or even ask you to be on the show. But remember, hey, it's just my opinion.